Okay, so I think that I'm live. I just realized I need to look at the um, Zoom, not at YouTube. I'm going to turn this off. All right, cool, cool. Hello, hello, everybody. Good, happy Friday. Hope everybody has been having an awesome week. Let me go ahead and give this link over in the chats. Link for All right, cool, cool. We'll let that go out. And I know Bull Sander will whip up a tweet and everything. It's so funny seeing the delay of the Zoom. All right, so I'm still getting used to this setup, and I'm actually doing a different lighting today because noticed last time it was like radiating the heck out of my face. So I don't know. Now I'm kind of turning red, so it's it's a process of discovery. I'm sure after doing this enough times, I will eventually get better and better and better. And that's how it works. And that's a lot of the things, I guess. I keep on thinking about the question from the last Zoom. I don't know when that was. Was it yesterday or the day before? Whenever somebody had asked at the very end, I think it was 2 days ago, Bull's Hand, I think, had pulled the question from somebody asking about what's different about blockchain companies versus like, not just blockchain, but yeah, blockchain companies, because they're the ones typically looking at something like looking at something like what's it called, decentralization. But yeah, Bull Sander, I'm testing out a different lighting. I was seeing how it looks normally. It's like, oh goodness, like it's. I don't know if that's better. No, I don't think so. So okay, now I'm blue. Yeah, it's haven't quite figured out the lighting situation yet. I guess this is like a peek behind the scenes almost of what the process looks like. So, anyways, I've been thinking about that previous question a lot, and it made me wonder how can we make this community as excellent as possible, like as we're going in and thinking about this massive scale up that we have in mind, as we not only pivot the brand from this idea of being an oracle bull's handed too funny, but also looking at it as how can we not just be a data warehouse or another storage solution, but instead can actually represent what what's possible with data, what data actually is. Because the question that I keep hearing come up every single day is what is the use case? And we give examples of like insurance and examples of I don't know, casinos or gaming, but the fact is most of these are not that tangible, I guess. And that's one of the challenges that we see in this space of if you look around online, that's where most people spend their time, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, if they're on TikTok, whatever it might be. And that stuff on those screens, the zeros and the ones and the pretty pictures and words that share so much information with us, that's just data, all of it. Every single thing in this concept of the metaverse that is now the buzzword of the day, it's nothing new. There's been for the last arguably decade, but really the last 5 years, it's been a massive, massive adoption curve within the remote work and digital space. And as people, I mean, at one point it was a big deal like, oh, people are spending more time online than they are watching TV. And this was a shift where we began to have such ready access to different types of entertainment. We no longer had to endure whatever commercials were given to us on the television. Instead, we were able to also take a look at we could choose what we wanted to watch. You know, I like to watch educational videos and to learn things that interest me. And on TV, I'm having to watch ads that are just really weird, and it depends what's showing on at the time. The point is, we got to a stage where we had more choice, we had more options, and when there was a better solution available, people began to migrate to that, and then going from having something like Netflix or YouTube, social media where we can interact with each other all the time. Now, well, with everything happening on 2020, with C19 and whatnot, people don't even see each other anymore. We are online. This is the metaverse. Some of my best friends in the world right now, some of them are sitting right here in this live chat, and many of these people I'd never met in person. They're zeros and ones. Everything around us is data. Is the very long point I was getting to in this introduction as we start to let everybody join us on this Friday evening where I'm at, Friday afternoon in the States. I guess Friday evening in Europe too, and then Asia, I guess, is early morning. I'm sorry, Asian community. I know we have a massive Vietnamese community, and shout out to all the different ambassadors that are here. You guys are oh my gosh, just I don't know. I think about this awesome series of troops, and we're just all going into battle to create this. I don't know. I play too many fantasy games. The point is that everything is data. And when it comes to what we do at Kailan is to make it easier that people can actually choose not just where is the data coming from, and we can have transparency and have systems in place that allow for a person to access what they're looking for, to be able to build, to create new things. If I think about what really does Kailan do in terms of data, it's not just price feeding, taking the price of Bitcoin right now and delivering it to a lending protocol. What it is a student in Africa that learns about machine learning, studies Python online, and is able to become quite proficient at it, apply that education to create a machine learning algorithm using Google Cloud services that allowed her to be able to better predict how the crop rotation should be for her family's farm. And this is an area that suffers from food shortages, and they were able to not only produce a surplus of food, but to be able to then provide, start trading with neighboring communities, generating a profit, and then sharing that algorithm with more neighboring areas, so that way it could create a chain reaction of results. That's what data does. That's what happens whenever we're able to not just empower people with the data itself, but with the systems that are able to generate value from that data, to be able to take an unproductive, inefficient, dark pool system where no one has any idea where the information is coming from. Sure, we don't have all of the solutions. There's still many very challenging, complicated problems to figure out. For anybody who's taken the time to read a blockchain white paper, when you see all those funny algorithms and mathematical proofs, and well, it's a big challenge. And I say all this because something we're here at Kailan, we believe we found the solution, that we can crack this code, a way that we can unlock the power that is inside of this data. And while people say that data is the new oil, it's only kind of true. I mean, from the standpoint of there's a production line from extracting it from the ground to transporting it to some place, at which point it must be refined and then shipped off to the end user downstream, which is where we fill it to put into our gas tank, or it's being used for other purposes. In this case here, though, yes, we have to extract data. Yes, we have to distribute it and refine it, organize it, structure it, and then deliver it to the end user. In this case, a website, an application. You send a message on Telegram, it gets bundled up, encrypted, shot over the interwebs, and then decrypted, land into the person you're connecting with, phone or tablet or everything simultaneously. But that's only part of it. Data at this stage in the metaverse, data that is here in this space that we have, that we all know each other from in the community, that's the oxygen that we breathe. That is not even the ground that we stand on. There would be no live webinar happening in 720p because my computer's not quite there yet for 4K, not 4K, for 1080p. But it's something that this wouldn't be possible without data. And to look at it from that perspective, when it comes to, as a community, what can we build? What can we do? We've got a lot of ideas, and we have a lot of real smart people who are thinking about the impact that we can make on the world. But the fact is, we're a small team still. And on the other hand, as a group, as a community, we're 66,000 plus people strong on Twitter, almost 14,000 inside of Telegram, and we're growing every single day. So it's something that what we see is the more we can empower the community to be able to collaborate, to explore different ideas, that's going to make us stronger as a company and stronger as a services that end up being provided. And this isn't a company or even services in the traditional sense. These are individuals who have an idea, who see a problem that can be solved, and in a way that it can be it can be sustainable in an economic market, which is what we're building. So I share this because while I don't have a short way to describe that, and I've done my best to type it in different manners, it is something where I wanted to be able to just have I guess a Friday evening's the best time and place to do this, of what is it that we're really here to do at Kailan? Because it's something where a lot of times we need to provide a solid, tangible answer. We do oracles, we do data warehousing, we provide a storage solution of sorts, we do analytics and reporting. Like, these are words, yet for most people, I've found there's not a lot of meaning in that. And we want to be able to reverse that. So anyways, kind of ties me to the marketing side, and I'll go into that later on. I'm going to take some time. I know, I haven't decided the structure of how I'm going to do these videos, still figuring it out. You'll notice today, there's no suit jacket, no hoodie. It's just me hanging out, casual Friday. So trying that on, really just looking to explore. And in this case here, I'm thinking topic, which is what I dropped into the title, which is playing with it there. I said data types. I think metaverse would have been more appropriate. I'll probably change that for the sake of the algorithm and YouTube. And Simon, thanks for letting me know. I'll check that out. And I haven't checked the chat yet, but I'm going to dive in there next. So yeah, the idea for this video is casual hangout. Make it to where I'm almost inspired by, I'm almost thinking like a podcast, but no one else is here yet. I think that we can inspire some folks to hop on with me. That would be super fun to be able to actually interact together somehow. I don't know the best solution for that yet, though. I'm sure I'll find something where there'll be either I'll dig around and then just test out a bunch of softwares, or if you guys know something, hey, share it. I'd love to find out. So yes, and I don't know, but I'll find out. Oh yes, I think I know who you are. But anyways, so it's something where yeah, I want to be able to test out where it's a topic, then doing some question and answers, topic, question, answers. And yeah, I'll probably just eyeball the topics. So I got a feeling it's going to get off topic. And that's not off topic, off track. But that's the point, to have something casual where we can snip out the best clips and have more content from it. So anyways, with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see what questions I can start off answering. I'm going to start here in the community, actually, in the live chats, and see what's there. Knock out a few of those, and then I know I've got a list that Bull Sander was kind enough to go and collect for me from the different groups, so that way I can knock those out here. Perfect, thank you. And Bull Sander, thank you so much for sending all that out, because when I hopped in and saw one person, I realized that, oh, wait a second, nobody has the link yet. Whoopsies. All right, where is Kailan based? Yomi, Kailan is actually a completely remote company. It's something where we have folks from, I'm in Kyiv, Ukraine right now. We got people in Canada, Germany, all over the world. We got people in Asia. It's something that we are we're moving towards decentralization more and more. There's a lot of stuff that has to be built. Oh, thank you, Bull Sander. Small crew of giants. Yes, thank you, Steve. Yeah, definitely on the field of giants. And so the more we can grow, the better we'll all do together. What is the best place to hold Kailan outside of a centralized exchange? MetaMask is what we encourage the most. That's what is got a lot of documentation, a lot of support of how to be able to manage. But check that out. Growing strong every day. Yes, sir. Someone else said MetaMask. And when can we expect staking on Kailan mainnet? Until then, enabling any other pools provide Kailan staking rewards. So it's something where we'll have the staking capabilities on Kailan. Once we go mainnet, that'll be post Polkadot launch. So as of right now, we're set up to where we're looking at a conservative early Q1 estimate. We are ahead of schedule at the moment, and it could happen sooner for sure. Yet there's a couple of details, a couple of audits we have to go through first, get the feedback, make any revisions, go back in, and then we'll do the Polkadot auction, We're still thinking that that can happen in Q1, but we'll be letting people know. It'll really depend on how things go on Kusama, because once we're live on the Kusama network, that's where we'll be being monitored, and we'll be setting up different reporting and dashboarding to show how we're performing. So that way we can move towards Polkadot, and that's more how Kailan staking. You'll get some pretty cool things though with Kailan as of right now. We're launching a different token for the Kusama network, just how compliance works. We need to separate them. And the only way to get the Pichu token, which is the secondary network for Kailan, is by holding Kailan. So it's a pretty cool way that you're able to gain additional utility value from that. Yes, Simon. Here, blast it away here. I'm going to dive through and pick out one of these questions from the list and then go to the next topic, which, oh, good. I'm glad I wrote them down. Now, I want to get 1% Pichu. Do I need to lock Kailan for this? And how long will my tokens be locked? Hey, so what this is referring to the Pichu launch, and we actually have a tokenomics breakdown. Bull Sander, I'm not sure if you're able to drop a link in the chat. But try it out. I think you should have admin rights. And so if it's possible, then definitely a good place to drop that article. But the short story of it is you don't need to lock your Kailan to receive a part of the 1% PQ allocation. You simply need to have Kailan in a non-custodial account. So meaning basically anything that you control the keys for, AKA not in exchange. There are anything, yeah, MetaMask is what we suggest. That's the easiest one, but there's Trust Wallet, Math Wallet, there's all sorts of fun stuff. And we'll do the next one. What can I do with Pichu? What are the utilities behind it? And will I be able to stake Pichu? Good questions. So I'll just knock through each of those questions on the actual use case of Pichu. We're still working out how we're going to break down the details. I anticipate we'll be releasing the roadmap for that probably by Wednesday, maybe as late as Friday though. A short story version of it is that Pichu being specialized in the Kusama network, we want to be able to create something that shows some innovative use case of how some functionality inside of Polkadot that it's really, really cool technology no one is talking about. Like, no one has been talking about the really amazing benefits of this really big feature. So what we decided is that maybe the first place to start building upon is to test out this functionality and build upon it. And of course, create opportunities to monetize with it. So stay tuned. Next week, we'll have more details on that. Final about the staking aspect to it. Well, it's going to be stuff that we'll set up the details for staking during that roadmap, so we can figure out how we want to set that up. As of right now, we don't have a specific decision on it. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next topic here, which is marketing. And now it's just going to be an update about how that's going, because we're working on a pretty cool project where we really want to be able to not just get the word out about Kailan, that yes, that's a big part of shamelessly what we like to encourage, of course, the token growth for the entire community. At the same time, though, we realize that one of the bottlenecks is people don't fully understand Polkadot or parachains or topics that are everyday conversations for the types of people that are here hanging out with us right now. I mean, it took some time to learn this. I know Polkadot was confusing as heck for me at first. It took me probably weeks to really wrap my mind around it. And the idea is that we see that there's a bottleneck of education, being able to really guide a person through the process. And I know Juan, one of our community leaders, he's actually put together something of a data mastery track where you can go through this entire step and truly be at the top level of the data industry by understanding this information. The point is, though, it's very complicated. There's a lot of moving pieces. So from a marketing standpoint, we've been looking at how can we utilize every social media channel and the different types of content that can be made there, with the idea that by breaking down content specific to each channel, we could present it in a different way. That way, over time, as we're generating and developing more content, it's essentially, we're able to kill two birds with one stone there. It's a much more efficient use of resourcing and capital investment, that we can not only expand the size of the community which would then attract more talent and people that can build and different applications and different solutions that can then be monetized within the data economy, which of course is connected to the Kusama relay chain, the Polkadot relay chain, and any application or network associated to them. We know there's a lot of value in that data. So we can build the community. We can also expand Polkadot further along as well, because that would bring just people who are searching Polkadot, they'll ideally fall upon these pieces of content on, well, again, every social channel. And then on top of that, to be able to then work with already existing applications and to be able to find creative ways that blockchain solutions can benefit a business. And you know what? Actually, I've got a perfect segue to this. Simon over here, I know you had a question, and I want to take the time to go ahead and answer that. Okay, I see you dropped a bunch of stuff. I don't remember what that was, and you know what? Now that I think about it, I don't know if you're Simon. I might be thinking about somebody else. So I had another question that was about what is it that we do for enterprises, for businesses, like off-chain businesses, outside of price feeding, is there other things that can be done? And specifically, are we targeting that? And the answer is yes. It's just something where, go for the lowest hanging fruit, and price feeding Oracle services. That's really common. Sorry, guys, I've been awake since like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's almost 11 here. So it's been a very long day, but I thought it'd be awesome to finish the day with a YouTube live. Anyways, okay, good. You are Simon. So yeah, I say that about the medium and to enterprise businesses, because it's something where there's just not a lot of education within the off-chain space right now about the benefits of blockchain solutions. I mean, imagine how many times has an employee working for a company, I know I've been in this position, where you see something that's really dumb. I mean, just really unintelligent, however this system works. But no one's taken the time to explain it because they're either worried for their job or they're just uncomfortable bringing up this situation. And so people just keep doing this thing that's mildly inefficient, but no one wants to really say anything. Well, if there was some type of a way that people could communicate, share information in a trustless and also anonymous, but at the same time, obviously everyone's connected into the same environment. The point is, it'd be a manner that people could communicate ideas freely and express their actual thoughts, their feedback, without the risks, which that would be able to improve innovation within that company in a way that would allow them to likely get a competitive advantage at whatever they do. Now, that is a bit of an extraction, of course, of like the type of value that can be developed. But the point is, these are the solutions that are possible right now. I mean, this technology exists inside of Polkadot, and with what we're building here on Kailan. But no one knows about this. So I say all this because what we're looking at when it comes to the marketing is to be able to set things up to where we can get that ball going. We can start to create a buzz, not just across the data community, but we have more than 50 partners, and we're going to be working with them and collaborating to find out how can we learn from them, and what can we share that can also benefit them, and to create this spirit of collaboration within the community where we're able to not just further market and expand what we're doing here at Kailan, but ultimately the vision of what Polkadot was built for, which is to be able to unbank, to be able to give people a voice, to be able to allow whether somebody is from Nigeria or somebody is in Colombia or somebody is in Minneapolis. Like, it doesn't, wherever on the planet the person can be, however, whatever that person's background might be, that they can have a voice, that they can have an opportunity. Like when we hire, it's not about where does somebody work, it's what can somebody do. And the point is, that's where we'd like to get more messages out there. So anyways, that's the marketing component. I'm now going to dive back into the chat and see what other questions I can answer. And hey guys, I'd love your feedback, because it is interesting to find out, like, how can we continue to improve? What do you guys think about these videos so far? I'd love to find out how we can, what ideas you might have that we can test, what you guys would be interested in. At this point, we've done a few of these, and we've been noticing growth. And anyways, yeah, I would love to see what you guys think. Much appreciated, Ryan. Is that a real background or a Zoom background? Yeah, Lakshmi, it's a real background. I I got some LED lights on Amazon, pointed them at the wall. I love LEDs, but I don't like seeing the strips. And so it worked out perfectly that this place has a like completely white walls because they look really great with the LEDs. Yeah, so Simon, about the Authority swap or the like the different staking options from before, it's something where we can track those, and we'll be working with the applications to be able to associate which wallet is where. In the dApp that we're setting up, it'll set up the things to where it can connect it. And I've heard a rumor we won't be, but this would be so wrong. I'm held from day one. In fact, I'm holding shows. I'm here for long term. Hey, I'm glad that you're here, my friend. It's been a journey, and that's blockchain. But I explored the entire industry, and out of what's easily 1,000 companies that I looked over, I mean, I really just aped through the entire blockchain industry. Kailan was the number one that I decided to not only buy from the very beginning token release, but also to continue buying, to hold, and to work here, and now to be able to build a career further and further. I think it's a good place. Providing liquidity would make a real kick in the teeth of diehard communities. Yeah, so we're definitely going to be watching out for you guys. Don't you worry. Now, where is there value in an exchange token? Can Kailan be used to underpin the functionality, for instance, of a gamer with an NFT skin selling in the game, in-game advertisements, like a football jersey? Yeah, so with Kailan, it's something where I could see an application where we could be looking over the data inside of whatever the game might be, or if it's a metaverse environment. We could be looking at the underlying data. If they would have some kind of an API, that's really the limiting factor of what can we do and what can't we do. Is if there's an API endpoint that is delivering JSON data, so that part is important, that it's structured in JSON format, then we can analyze it. Fortunately, pretty much everything is able to either be converted into JSON or is usually has some form available. At which point we would be able to store that inside of the warehouse, and our system would be able to query it. And any of the many developers within our community would likely be able to see the need and build an oracle around that. At which point, whoever's building the oracle receives the fees on that indefinitely. Portion goes out to Kailan and the treasury. Portion of that gets used for other technical stuff. The point is, anything that has the API endpoint can be working. What we really like to think about is if you're looking at like gaming, what is it that would give you an edge? So in one case here, if it's going to be these different skins and looking at advertising for it, well, if you're an advertiser, you want to have a high quality audience and cheap CPMs. So in this case here, to be looking at that from the perspective of, well, what kind of an application could we make that is able to show off-chain, a lot where a lot of that incoming money is coming from, because kind of going back to your question on what can be done for those enterprises, and show them that, okay, if you guys are paying $25 to $35 CPMs on Facebook right now with an algorithm that breaks every 6 weeks. I spent 5 years working for Facebook, and I don't have many good things to say about the experience or about where Facebook is at now. I say this though because something where Facebook advertisers spend insane amount, I mean, billions of dollars every single month collectively. I know for myself, I was an itty bitty small fry, and at one point I was managing $50,000 a day. I say that because if I'm paying $25 to $35 CPMs, and it's possible for me to get $5 CPMs with a better market, I'm going to be leaping on that. And for sure can open up tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of tests with that. So it's something where what I'd be looking at with a example like you had given here is to find out not just what can be connected, but what can be done with it. Anyways, that's the kind of stuff that we'd be helping out with. So that's what we're looking to be doing with the Community Dev Fund. Yeah, I'm excited to connect with you. Which consumption modes has Kailan considered providing? One-time aggregate, periodic aggregate? So it's something that there's a lot of ways to make it happen. It's really a matter of time. It's something that we have to be able to build out these features. And at the moment, we've got the proof of concept, we've got the minimum viable product. We're launched on Cha-Cha-Cha, Rococo, West End, and we're about to be going mainnet with Pichu. So as we continue to create more applications, we're going to continue to add on iteratively, though we are starting with the absolute most simplest. So at the moment, it's going to be an API connection, and I believe at the moment it's batch. Now, I know for sure that streaming is high up on my list because there's a lot of really exciting applications available right now for streaming data. But there's also some technical challenges where we want to focus on launching and then start making all sorts of cool stuff. We got back-to-back, when Kailan lists Binance and any major exchange listings coming up. So we're not able to talk about exchange listings until the official announcements. We're definitely talking to exchange. Like, I can absolutely say that we want an exchange listing and we're working towards it. It's something where in this crypto season, every project is looking for exchange listings. There is a process, and it's something where when we look at the focus or the attention in terms of resourcing especially, a lot of times projects, the same way they'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on YouTubers to go and shill their coin, they'll also spend inordinate amounts of money on an exchange. While for us, we understand that we can see the data that an exchange listing is usually most useful for a live service. And so one of the things that we were looking at originally was waiting until mainnet. Now, granted, it turned out that that took longer, and then we realized we need to do more stuff on the network. And so that's where we're at the moment. But the case is still the same, that the exchange listings require a massive amount of resourcing that just doesn't make sense to push when we have alternative solutions. Now, we absolutely understand that the gas fees are ridiculous right now. That wasn't anticipated when we first put together these strategies in this plan, but it's also something where we want to use the revenue, not the revenue, but the resourcing as efficiently as possible. So we are working on exchange listings, and I feel optimistic that we can have something. I mean, it's not like before where we couldn't say what was going to happen. I can now say that the closer we get to parachain auction successes and that we're able to be on a live token on mainnet, that makes it to where we will have many options, is what I mean. These are great videos. Oh, thank you so much for the feedback. Let's see. How realistic is the auction dot in the first quarter of 2022? I would say it's realistic. It's something where Kusama is to focus first, because we're going to be judged on Kusama in order to be able to go on the dot. At the same time, though, it's something where we also are putting full attention on hiring more developers and exploring other systems and ways to be able to increase our efficiency as how we can build. And I don't know, there's a certain look I think all blockchain people kind of have where we don't, we work a lot. And at the same time, there's only so much that can be done in a single day. And we're here creating the new innovations. It's not like my old business. I talk about Facebook a lot and advertising because it's what I know. But in Facebook ads, there's a formula. You do this, then this. And if you do it these ways, you'll make money. There's an already established market, and you just do slightly better or slightly more effective than what other people can do. And there's value added. Here, we're building something fresh. So I'm sharing all this, and I'm glad I'm doing this casual video, because these are a lot of the kind of things that are tough to put into a Telegram response, but we think that the better we can have authentic, natural answers, it'll begin to communicate or translate. Long answer, but that's a question that comes up a lot. So I wanted to give a thorough, comprehensive response. The data guy in me. So we will be rewarded with Pichu even if we provide liquidity on Rule. That's what we're shooting for. Yes. I'm not saying it's definite, because I'm not the technical guy that's able to actually put that together. But from everything I've seen, heard, and understand, I can say with confidence in front of the community that yes, we will either be working with them directly or we'll have it directly through the DApp. Now, which of those options it is, I don't remember for sure, but there's a solution for it. Lack of trustworthy Oracle is a major impediment to the evolution of smart contracts. Yeah, I mean, it's something where there's a lot of great options out there. And it really there's so many different ways to send data. And then when data does go from point A to point B, it's different transfer speeds, different costs associated, different types of data that gets passed through, kind of like the question earlier. It could be a batch data, streaming, real time, and a whole bunch of other options. So anyways, let's just see. How do you feel about people saying Kailan price can be easily manipulated and the fact that it's been going down? It's not a good investment. I don't believe them. I need to hear your opinion. Yeah, so it's something that I'll just knock those out one by one. How do I feel about people saying the price can be manipulated? I mean, I wouldn't. I consider stocks can be manipulated. Those are multi-billion-dollar market cap companies. Bitcoin can be manipulated. In good faith, couldn't think of an asset that is overly difficult. Even the U.S. dollar fiat system is being manipulated. What I understand the concern though, that it's a startup project. We are still in the small cap zone of floating around that's as low as 60 million upwards to 110-ish million dollar level, which is amazing growth considering we're just over a year old. That's insane pace in traditional sense. At the same time, though, as far as a feeling standpoint, I understand the sentiment. Markets in crypto are crazy. I mean, the volatility here is wild. The fact that for us, the market drops 5%, we don't bat an eye. But if the stock market fell by 2%, people would freak out. It's something that this isn't a space that we work in where we need to focus on the technology. We need to focus on the value of what is blockchain meant for? Why is it that people are trading these tokens in the first place? It's because that blockchain has the ability to create systems and to be able to provide solutions that didn't exist before this tech. And the world is seeing that now. And it's exciting that we have an opportunity to work in this space. At the same time, though, I would remind people that in any other world, the type of growth that we experienced, I mean, it was a week and a half ago that the coin price was 26 cents and it's almost doubled in a week. It's something that when things go up real fast, they go down as well. And if I look at the markets, they're all red. There's not a lot of feelings that comes from there. And I would really encourage, folks that when making any type of decision to look at the fundamentals of it and to judge off of that, because then it's going to make it to where it's easier to make choices. I didn't make a financial decision. I don't think so, but not financial advice if the obligatory response. In this case here, I'm not even talking about the investment or even Kailan. This is a general response because besides Terra, I don't think there's many things that are up, not up for the day. Okay, I haven't looked at the charts in a couple of hours, so maybe that's changed. How will decentralized identifiers be used by Kailan? So it's something that a decentralized identifier is just going to be a series of cryptographic messages being sent from one place to another place. So what Kailan could be doing is either storing the messages going back and forth to be able to tell, not the messages themselves, but the fact that there was a message received, like a validation layer of sorts, or it's something that we could be even facilitating somehow encryption behind that. And in the sense that I'm sure there's, and guys, I'm speculating here, none of this exists. So describing the things that are possible using Substrate, Rust, and Polkadot and Kailan. It's something where these DIDs, decentralized identifiers, they're still a new technology, and it's something that there's not a whole lot of information for. At the same point, though, we are working on solutions that can be made for that, and those are a few that I have in mind that I think would be awesome to put together. Yo, dude, I'm a long-time holder. Glad to hear that. So what's going on with Kusama situation? Yeah, that's a good question. I was actually thinking about this earlier today. I'm studying this too as well. It's even for the folks inside of it, there's so much more to be learning. And Kusama, it's not exactly just a space for testing. Keyword, just a space for testing. Yes, it was built to be an observation area, but you can think of it like if you have a Olympic type event where it's just a top class athlete, people that have been training for years. Let's just say that that's Polkadot. But if you need to train, let's just say it's the martial arts. At some point, you got to get into a ring and fight somebody. Well, you may not go straight to, if they have Olympic boxing or something, then you're not going to go straight to the Olympics. You're going to train somewhere else. And that's what Kusama is for Polkadot. They make it to where people can launch their networks. Now going back to blockchain world, they can launch a network with real money, real stakes, real people, real communities interacting, building real solutions. And they can see in real life what happens with those solutions and how, from a mass psychology standpoint, how does that affect the overall network, the security, and the success of those solutions that they're building? At which point going to Polkadot, where it's a much higher risk environment because it's meant for institutional grade security, it's something where a person can know that their concept or thesis is validated and can safely go to Polkadot. Will be continued action, support, and development for new ideas. Yeah, so it's something where being a test space, we're looking at what solutions could Kailan provide that are specifically dedicated to help other applications and other blockchains test things. There's a lot of technical requirements in building a parachain and a blockchain and then maintaining it. And then, of course, building solutions on top of it. And it's something where we see a lot of opportunities where as everybody in the Kusama system is learning it, it only opened up a couple of months ago. It's something where we believe that we can help to guide folks that are wanting to go on that journey of launching their own applications on Kusama as a parachain or parathread or to some other how interact with the community. We see that we can help with that. Just joined, fashionably late. My question, could you share some use cases of Kailan in the future? How does D-Data help the health sector, for example? That's a fun one. I want to expect that with some thought. See, health is interesting because there's so much compliance around it. And being, I think it's HIPAA certified. I forgot what the acronym means, but there's some complicated compliance system around the transfer of data in the healthcare industry. What I could imagine that is a bit of a stretch. So I'm just going to set compliance to the side. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how that stuff works. We hire lawyers for this, but it's something that if I look at it from a purely technological standpoint, there's a lot of machine learning required inside of healthcare applications. If somebody is doing some type of a scan, there is amazing technology that is coming out in the healthcare sector that's helping doctors identify different issues, understand what type of, and there's a lot of things that can help with doctors. And being able to somehow track how a decision was made could be very important. One of the challenges that happens is, let's say there's a misdiagnosis. Well, if you're talking about something like, I don't know, cancer treatment, that's going to be extraordinarily sensitive. And you can't have a miscalculation about something like a prescription or about like a diagnosis. It might kill somebody. And if there's a non-zero chance that it can cause harm, it'd be very important to be able to somehow prove, well, how reliable is this algorithm? And then you can compare that objectively. Well, how often do doctors misdiagnose versus how often do machines misdiagnose? As of right now, there'd have to be some kind of a centralized system to be able to prove exactly how that, if that's happening. And even then, it'd be kind of like the Federal Reserve. We just would have to trust them that everything's going to be fine. It's something where in this case, I know that's a kind of a dark example, sorry. At the same point though, it's something where within the healthcare space, it's not so much dedicated to, healthcare versus oil and gas versus logistics. It's more so about data itself. Where is there data that can somehow potentially be used more effectively? And if so, what is some aspect of trust perhaps that would typically have to occur that somehow we would be able to extract out by using blockchain? The process of taking whatever off-chain data there is and being able to use blockchain to do something effective with it, Kailan is that bridge that makes it to where that data is now able to gain even more value. And one aspect of the way to monetize that is by selling the data itself, though there's 5 levels of data monetization, and that's level 1. I mean, it's the least profitable, least scalable, but it's the easiest to describe. On the other hand, to be able to actually utilize data for making operational decisions and then automating those operating decisions and then creating a culture of automating operating decisions using data. The world is still at the selling data standpoint for the most part for things like advertising, but we're now kind of progressing in the data monetization cycle. I just realized this is all content we should be talking about. Casual Friday seems like a success, though. I'm excited to see what people think about this throughout the as different comments and things roll in. Which, by the way, guys, if you like what you're seeing, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. It's excellent information for us. But I know the algorithm likes that, and you guys staying here watching helps so much. So I appreciate you being here with us. So yeah, it's something where I say that about looking at it from healthcare versus oil and gas. It's something where instead looking at it from what is data, how can it be used? Yeah, note to self, we'll definitely make a series talking more about this, because that's where the real, well, one, that's where the real money is from monetization standpoint. But two, it's also where you can find out on your own. Like I'd love to know what kind of solutions do you think can happen, because it's something where it's really the collective mind of the community we're excited to hear. All right, keep these feeds up. Glad you like it. Would Pichu be a form of payment for Cha-Cha-Cha D-Data business? Cha-Cha-Cha, I don't have any specific like use case with them, like a partnership with them of how it's working. Pichu will be used for the query fees on the Kusama network, not on Kusama network, but Pichu will be what's paid out when somebody is interacting on the Pichu network. So same way that Kailan tokens are paid out to data providers that are having their data being queried, Pichu tokens are paid out for people who query on Pichu. All right, guys, I can tell that I am going to be nearing the end of my day. I think I'm rocking, let's see, 11 plus. Yeah, it's almost 15 hours. So yeah, it's almost my time, and it's way too late for me to drink coffee. I'm going to shotgun mode a couple of these last questions here. I want to make sure that I take the time to answer them, because I know that the ambassadors took time to go and collect all of these for me and put these delightful emojis here as well. So that way it looks nice too. When will Pichu be dropped after winning Kusama parachain auction? Basically immediately. I can't say literally immediately, because in block time, it's like 6 to 12 seconds per block, and I don't know exactly how many blocks it will take, but the Pichu tokens will be having a 1% drop very quickly after this auction is set up. And then from there, it's a schedule. So it's going to be every single month for 10 months. We're still looking at the exact method to be able to, percentages for people who lock up the Kailan, another percentage for just holding Kailan in a place. Either way, that wasn't very fast. I'm going to go quicker. Will we be combining the airdrop and lock drop? If the snapshots are monthly and random, then is it the same or no? So as of right now, I don't believe there's consensus yet on if it's an airdrop, lock drop. For sure, there's going to be a drop. So that's something that we can absolutely stand behind. We're figuring out what's the best methodology to execute that. And at the same time, we're looking at what's going to be the best and the safest for everybody. On one hand, locking it up is going to make it to where it encourages people to hold on to the tokens. And on top of that, it empowers the people who have held on to Kailan for the longest. On the other hand, the token drop could be a little bit easier. Yeah, it could also be manipulated, at which point we have to think about the game theory to figure out what is the way that we can set this up without the system being gamed and broken. So either way, it's something that we're looking at monthly, looking at random snapshots, so that way it's as fair as possible. And I'm personally looking at having a mix between the two. Though at the same point, there were some good arguments. I very well may lean one way or the other, so I can't say I'm overly attached to one decision. What is the TPS information on the Kailan network? So the transactions per second is going to be more so based upon the Polkadot relay chain itself. So the way that it's structured is that each parachain has, I want to say, and you know what? I guess actually, let me just look this up. I wrote it. Because I believe I know the answer, but I don't want to mistake. Okay, cool. I was right. There we go. Thank you, Google. So Polkadot has about 1,000 transactions per second, and that's what you're going to see on each relay chain. So one of the things that, and that's what's technically possible. It's obviously the network is being upgraded constantly. So we are talking about where Polkadot is going and where it's building towards. But it's something where 1,000 is where what can be imagined. And okay, I'm going to stop there because I am way too exhausted at the end of the day to try to explain them. But yeah, I'm still learning it. So one moment, I lost the YouTube feed. Okay, there we go. There we go. Are you planning to get a T1 listing before auctions start? Unlikely, though possible. It's just something where it's not our decision in the sense that we need to be able to see an option that works financially, while also makes sense from a is it going to potentially keep us from launching a parachain as soon? Because if resourcing is sent out towards an exchange and that somehow takes us, further behind, if we fall behind schedule in launching, it causes even more damage because there's 50 plus partners who'd like to have solutions. Please lay out the exact differences between Kailan and Chainlink again. Yeah, no, nothing to apologize for. There's a lot of information that can go into the difference between the various data providers. Namely, it's going to be that Chainlink is built on the Ethereum network, and by the nature of that, is subject to gas fees, as well as it's just a different architecture. Ethereum was built in 2015. Yes, they have ETH 2.0 coming up. At the same time, though, it's a different system that it's built on. Polkadot, on the other hand, made by the same guy who wrote the code for Ethereum, like wrote the language for Ethereum, he developed Polkadot because he saw multiple challenges with it in the way that it scales, which is exactly what happened, and with how it goes through mass adoption. So it's something where this gentleman, Gavin Wood, put together Polkadot in a way that is highly scalable and at the same time able to be customized and optimized based on the use case. In this case here, where Ethereum is built to handle literally any type of application. You want to have a decentralized exchange, you want to have an algorithmic bot, you want to have a storage company, a data company. With a parachain on Polkadot, each parachain is specialized. What Kailan is a parachain, an entirely independent sovereign blockchain network that is specialized in data solutions, being able to analyze data, to index data, to be able to report and to share. And by being able to optimize the settings of the network protocol as a whole around the one idea of how do we provide the most efficient data solutions possible, it makes it to where we're able to do some pretty cool things. One, we'll be able to interoperate between basically every single parachain. Not that Chainlink can't do that. It's just by being built into Substrate, built on Substrate, attached to the parachain, which is on Polkadot with everything else, it gives us much easier access, quicker access, natively on the same chain. And it makes it to where we can have things that are more likely going to be cheaper. And as we build it up, we want to be able to build things faster. Now, it's not that Chainlink is going to be, that's the thing, it's different because they're built for a different use case. Chainlink is monstrously like the 800-pound gorilla. I mean, they are dominating in terms of DeFi. What's the word? It starts with an S. Yeah, whenever there's a certain point of the day where my brain just is like, click, no more on it. Anyway, so yeah, it's something where those are some of the differences. I could talk for quite some time about that, and it's not a silly question at all because it's something that there's a lot of differences to it. And I think, what role does Andy play in the Kailan team? Yeah, so I'm here to be able to, for the most part, I would say help make strategic decisions. My specialization as a background is in marketing. Previously, before that, I helped in finance, or I worked in finance. And here I'm here to help to be able to kind of connect the dots of the amazing teams that we have within the company. I mean, there's the technical team that has been working tirelessly to be able to prepare everything for a successful Kusama launch. Looking at the ambassador team and being able to work with them and learn and understand as much as I can about a community. So that way we can set up the best systems, which then leads me to marketing, which there we have a creative team that is starting to put together the strategies on how we can be more responsive on Twitter and increase the amount of communication we're getting out. More graphics that break down exactly how certain things work. Different types of video content. So the scripted videos versus studying and learning about the industry to find out what type of live videos and podcasting and such should we do, as well as our partner relationships. How can we leverage those and collaborate together? And so the marketing team is that. So my job is to really oversee how can we bring out the most from the resourcing that is available to ensure the highest possibility that Kailan can be successful. If I had to sum up my job, that's not a very good way. I call myself Chief Monetization Officer. I don't know if that's a thing, but it is now. But people see CMO, it can also be Chief Marketing Officer. All right, and you know what? I'm enjoying this, so I'm going to just answer the rest of these questions, and then I'm going to go and relax and finish my day. Adam and the withdrawal fee. Yeah, they definitely have super high fees. And by the way, guys, we are not an official, like, we did not officially list Gate. Gate decided to list us. And it's something where I say that because yeah, it's why we don't comment on it. And we're happy for it. Just, yeah, they can be high. Thank you so much, Shelly. Is it Shell or Shelly? Sorry, I don't know. When Luna integration? I know, right? I'm excited. BKYL. Yeah, Bull's hand. I'm excited to hear that. Never forget Sega does what Nintendo don't. Oh, it's fantastic. Not possible without data. What makes Kailan essential for what is already essential? I don't understand. All right. So, everybody, it has been an absolute pleasure. And that was awesome. Cool. I got to go through all the questions, hang out with some of my favorite people in the world, and shoot, talk about data, which data makes me happy. And in fact, I'll probably go meet up with some of my data scientist friends tonight. Wow, I'm realizing how much of a data person I am. Well, we all find that path at some point. So, thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. And until next time, bye for now, y'all.